Discrediting the positive. Have you ever heard of Rosalind Franklin? Rosalind Franklin was a chemist and an X-ray crystallographer. She made significant contributions to the discovery of DNA structure, which is a very big deal in her industry. However, she was discredited for her work while James Watson and Francis Crick, the gentlemen that were her colleagues, walked past her to receive the Nobel Prize. Similarly, Jocelyn Bell went through the same thing. Jocelyn Bell Burnell was the person who discovered pulsars, and she was overshadowed by her male colleagues who received the Nobel Prize, Peace Prize, or the Nobel Prize. So these women's achievements were unfairly discredited due to gender bias and discrimination. They were not receiving the attention and the note for the work that they actually put in simply because of their gender. Discrediting is taking away the legitimacy of something or someone. And as painful as it is to see this happen in society, many people discredit themselves in their own mind. What about you? Are you a discreditor? Do you discredit or disqualify your own positive experiences and achievements? Many trauma survivors do this as a coping mechanism, gives them a sense of safety, sense of control, or they've already just developed like a shame identity around being negative or feeling sad. But your depression comes down to your cognitive distortions, your detrimental ways of thinking. Your anxiety comes down to your cognitive distortions, your detrimental way of thinking. So when you feed the subconscious a steady diet of everything that is depressing and detrimental or scary, then it's going to give us anxiety and depression. And it really is that simple. So one of these examples of this cognitive distorted way of thinking is discrediting the positive. This looks like you're acknowledging that something positive did happen, or that you got something positive, or you did something positive, but you discredit it like it's not as legitimate. Just the same way these women were discredited simply for being women. So you're looking at your achievements. You're saying, yeah, I graduated college, but everyone graduated college in my family. That's not a big deal. See how we discredited the positive on that one? Or you say, yeah, I have a nice place to live, but everyone has a nice place to live in this neighborhood. That's not really a big deal. See how we discredited the positive? Or yeah, everyone says that I'm beautiful, but I had work done, so it's not really me. See how we discredited the positive? Or yeah, so and so complimented me, but they were just doing that to be nice. That was just pity praise. See how we're discrediting the positive? So why do you do it? Why do you discredit the positive? Well, it could be because you're avoiding emotional overwhelm. It could be because you're maintaining your emotional numbing. It could be because it's reducing your anxiety, or so you believe it will. It could be because you're in fear. You live in fear of the unknown, and being positively minded and thinking positively is something you just don't know a lot about. Could be because you're preserving your shame identity, your familiar identity as a loser or as someone who things do not work out for because you have an Eeyore complex. Oh, nothing ever goes well for me. Or it could be because you're protecting against disappointment. You don't want to get your sights up and your hopes up thinking all positive because you're afraid you're going to end up collapsing and falling down. So, whatever the case, whatever the reason, it is detrimental. is bad for your health. It is causing you depression. It is causing you anxiety, and it needs to stop. To discredit the positive, you are unfairly disqualifying, taking away from the good that you have done, from the greatness that you have achieved, from the blessings that you have received, so that you can live in a worse world than you already live in. And trust me, the world doesn't need your help to be worse. It's bad enough on its own. So if you take away any of the good, you are making the world actually worse than it really is. And how can you feel good? How can you feel good when you don't think good? How can you feel good when you don't allow yourself to see good? When you don't allow yourself to hear compliments? How can you feel good? When every time someone tries to tell you something good about yourself, you always want to bat it down, bat it down. It's true that in society, it's considered an act of humility to discredit your positive achievements and compliments that people might give you. So people say, "Hey, you're so good at this. You did so great at that," and you say, "Oh, it was nothing. I owe it all to the people around me. I've done nothing. I'm a fool," right? And so we have that working against us because it's considered polite, it's considered humble to do that. But is it good for our mental health to be saying that to ourselves in our brain? We're hurting ourselves to say this, to talk that way in our minds. The reason why it's appropriate for us sometimes with our speech outwardly to discredit ourselves a bit, the reason why it seems appropriate is because what we're trying to do is make sure that we show regard for the feelings of others. So we don't want to sit around talking and boasting and bragging about our own accomplishments. So it's okay if you're trying your best to not brag or boast. That's okay. We don't want to brag or boast. But there's a balance that needs to be struck in. We need to strike a balance. And how do we do that? It's by recognizing the positive, especially inwardly, dwelling on the positive, giving credit, due credit to the positive in our lives so that we change the way we talk to ourselves, the way we think, and the way we act so that we can feel better. So if you're saying to yourself something like, yeah, my partner said they love me, but they only said that because that's their obligation, then you're discrediting the positive. If you say to yourself, I didn't really earn this achievement, anyone could have done it, then you're discrediting the positive. You're causing yourself mental illness. When you say, I'm not actually improving, I'm just fooling myself. Or, yeah, maybe I'm healing a little bit, but not as fast as others. Or anyone can see that this success is just a facade. Or, yeah, but I'm just pretending to be confident. It isn't real. Or the positive feedback my boss gave me was just what he's obligated to say. You are discrediting the positive. What's the importance of the positive? Well, every thought, every word that is spoken, every idea carries power, a charge, negative or positive. This power is good for building you up or tearing you down. And I mean you, the deepest you, the energy version of you, the metaphysical you can get torn up or built up or torn down as a result of the words that you take into your brain, through your eyes, through what you read, through what you hear, and through what you say to yourself. So you have to make sure that your speech is not tearing yourself down. You have to make sure your inner talk is not tearing yourself down, and the way that you're thinking is not tearing yourself down. Because if you tear down the self will activate distress signals in the form of anxiety. And you'll feel all this cortisol coming into your system and this adrenaline coming into your system. You'll be like, why am I so anxious? You're so anxious because you keep discounting the positive. You keep saying, yeah, I have a nice house, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay the bills next month. Or how do I know I'm not going to lose my job? And you're getting all these distress signals and you're going, oh my God, why do I feel so horrible? It's because you keep discounting the positive. And we do the same with depression. We're looking in the past and we're like, I won an Olympic gold medal, or I know how to fly a whole plane, but my relationships just aren't as good as I wish they were. You're discounting the positive. So we have to stop being discounters and discreditors. And we have to give everything and everyone their just due. And so look at all of the accomplishments that you have, all of the blessings you've received, all of the goods that you've obtained, all of the compliments that you've gotten. Take all of the positive and learn to hold it, learn to dwell on it, savor it. When I was doing missionary work in South America, I was in this little village on the edge of the jungle, and one of the things we would do is when someone wrote us a letter or gave us a card with a compliment, we would save it. And then if we were ever feeling down or feeling doubtful, we'd pull out that package. We have this package of all these positive cards, these encouragements, and we would read them so we could build ourselves up rather than discrediting the positive, right? Nowadays we have social media. If you try to post on social media, the negative people will come, right? The negative people show up and then they spill negativity all over your page. And it's remarkable, right? I posted videos denouncing narcissists, and there are people who come on the page and say, "Hey, don't denounce narcissists. How dare you be so rude to narcissists?" Okay, there's always going to be someone who's going to go against you, who's going to criticize you, who's going to make little side comments, who's going to undermine you. But what happens to us with everything we receive, all the feedback, all the social media comments, we we focus on the bad ones. We focus on the ones that hurt our feelings. We focus on the ones that trouble us. We don't want to do that. So, in the same vein of having the package of positive cards, there's like on TikTok, for instance, there's a favorites tab. You can favorite comments that you get, and you can create a whole folder of positive comments that you've received over time. And what you'll notice is you receive a lot more positive to neutral comments than you do negative, detrimental comments. We have to learn to focus properly on the positive. Why? Because the positive is what's good for building up, because the positive is beneficial to yourself and to your purpose. Because you have a purpose to execute, it does you no good to take in negative energy. That is why you must focus on the positive. Again, every thought, every word, it carries a charge, positive or negative, building you up or tearing you down. If you do not focus on the positive, then you're tearing yourself down and weakening yourself, making it impossible for you to fulfill your goals and your purpose in life. Meaning you're making it so you can't win by taking in a steady diet of all that is detrimental to you. Paying attention to what your narcissistic mom says, or your narcissistic ex-boyfriend, or on and on again, off again boyfriend, or whatever. Paying attention to the words of your nagging contentious, narcissistic wife, paying attention to the words of your adult, misbehaved, Cain spirited son or daughter. All those words are detrimental. And what's worse is many of us have a little narcissist right in our brain that was trained by our narcissistic parents. And then we just want to replay and replay and replay all this negativity. And so you can't do anything. You go in the kitchen, your kitchen's clean, you go, yeah, but the dishes aren't done. You can't do anything. You got this little narcissist following you around, discounting every positive thing that happens. Like, oh, yay, I get to go to Target. I love Target. Oh, but the prices are going to be bad. And you go, oh, at least the sun's out today. Oh, yeah, but it's winter. I hate winter. You understand? You can discredit everything. It doesn't take a great mind to point out the negative. So stop assuming that it's smart in any way to point out the negative. It's not. It's not. Anyone can do it. Even a child can point out the flaws and things. It actually requires higher intelligence to be able to see something as nuanced, possessing both negative and positive qualities. It takes mental fortitude to focus in on the positive qualities of something. So instead of saying, I'm not proud of myself, I'm just pretending to be, this accomplishment doesn't count because someone else did most of the work. I'm only getting praise because people don't know the real me. Let's start building ourselves up. Let's start building ourselves up. So there's a few things that we need to change in order to be able to do this. It's our beliefs, our bias, and our behavior. The beliefs around um, discounting the positive may be various things, and it's something unique for you. So meditate, take a moment, grab your pen and paper, and analyze. Ask yourself, why do I tend to do this? Really? What benefit do I receive from it? And you might find that you may believe there's a benefit from discounting the positive. That is going to be your maladaptive belief. So uncover what your maladaptive belief is. Analyze, why do I tend to discount the positive? And you might come up with something like, well, I believe that it makes me more humble. That's positive. Or you might say, well, I believe that it's dangerous to feel good. Because if I'm going around, walking around feeling good, then bam, something bad's going to happen and it makes me vulnerable and exposed. Okay, good. Now you've identified that. Write that belief down, that maladaptive belief. You may have a belief, well, it's better to be sad, or this is my identity. This is who I am. I'm not supposed to be happy-go-lucky. And you write down that belief. And then what you're going to look for is evidence against that belief. Thank yourself for having a belief that was there to protect you. You're just trying to protect yourself. That's why you're doing it. But you might have come up with that strategy when you were 5 or 6. So now that you're 56 or 36, I don't know how old you are, but however old you are, you got to look at it again. You got to analyze and say, you know what? I might need a better strategy now. Maybe the strategy I came up with when I was younger worked for then, but it doesn't work now. So it was adaptive at a time, but it's maladaptive now. So instead of believing that it's better because I'm being more humble, what I need to believe is that I want to be great, and the way to greatness is to build myself up to enhance the thoughts of the positive, to upbuild the soul so that I can have the strength to achieve and overcome the obstacles. And then I can just be careful not to boast. And that will be humility. Being great, and not boasting is true humility. Not tearing down the things that I do accomplish. That's not true humility. It's just self-abuse. Or if you have a belief like, I believe it's dangerous to feel good. I don't want to go through life feeling comfortable, good, because something can just come and it can get me. Well, let's update that belief. It's actually dangerous to feel bad all the time. It weakens us and makes us susceptible and more sensitive to the inevitable disappointments that will come in life, to the inevitable, uh, uh, all of us will face inevitable downturns. All of us will face moments of loss. So when we hit our little losses, we don't want to be thrown totally off track by them. We need to be strong enough to overcome them, resilient enough to bounce back. And we get resilient by building the self up so that we are big and strong. Then we can handle what's coming our way. So it does not make us safe to always be thinking in the negative and discounting anything positive. If we have a belief, well, it's not my identity to feel good, it's better for me to just be sad. You say, you know what? It's time for me to acquire a new ID. I need a new identity because the old identity didn't suit me. I'm just going to make a slight alteration because I am whoever I want to be. I decide who I am. And then the rest of the world catches up. I don't allow myself to be boxed in by what other people say I am and can be. Does that make sense? Then we have to look at our bias, which is our way of thinking. And that's where you get the self-talk. Okay, so you got self-talk that's going in every time you see something positive, you have a way of thinking, a way of talking to yourself that always cuts the positive thing down. I'm improving. No, I'm not proving. I'm just fooling myself. Ooh, that was good how I set that boundary. That was mean how I set the boundary. I'm just a narcissist. Ooh, I'm doing good. No, I'm not doing good. I'm just faking it. Okay. We had to change the way we talk. How do we do that? Well, let's take an illustration. Imagine a kid that grows up in a household with a narcissistic parent, mom or dad, whatever you picture. And this narcissistic parent's always tearing down the child and discounting the positive that the child does. So when the child brings in a picture, the parent says, "Oh, that's pretty good, but your brother was able to draw better than this at your age." And when the child brings in a good grade, the parent says, "Oh, well, it's not an A plus." And when the child wins at their sports, then the parent says, "Well, you haven't won the championship. Come back when you're a champion." How do you feel for that child? What will happen to that child? That child will develop depression, low self-worth, low self-esteem. He or she will feel unlovable. She'll always feel like it's not good enough. She'll feel anxiety. Now, please understand that you are that parent because that's how you talk to your inner child. You are abusing your inner child and it needs to stop right now. Never again, never again discount the positive that you accomplish, the good that you achieve. Never talk down on it. If you get a good grade, you don't say, "Oh, but it wasn't an A plus." You say, "I got a good grade. That is fantastic. I'm proud of you." Because in reality, it takes a little bit of intelligence to achieve success. It takes a little bit of hard work to achieve success. And so we need to give credit where credit is due. And I know that some of us, we had parents like that. Okay, don't be a parent like that. Leave it in the past. How much more time are we and space are we going to give the narcissistic mother and father in our head? Cut them off. When I say cut them off, I don't mean just don't call them, don't talk to them. Don't let them in here. That's why we don't call them and talk to them. So they're not in here. So that they're not in our pattern of thinking. This is a new way of thinking. We build up. We focus on the positive. Wow, that's amazing that you achieved that. That's a beautiful picture. Hey, great job on that test. Hey, you won a game. That's fantastic. You didn't win the game, but you scored a goal. That's fantastic. You didn't score a goal, but you kicked the ball. That's fantastic. You didn't kick the ball, but you sat on the sideline supporting your team. That's fantastic. We focus on the positive. So build yourself up. So how's it supposed to sound when you're self-talking? From morning to night, you're giving credit to the positive. From your gratitude meditation, as soon as you open your eyes, you don't go into the anxiety. Oh no, I'm late. I'm late. It's another day. No, no, no. From the moment you wake up, before the eyes even open up, you just start hitting the positive and focusing on the positive. The blessings, the blessings. Oh, yes, I have a bed. This is so amazing. I'm so grateful to have this bed. I'm in gratitude meditation. Oh, wow, I have a house. I'm so grateful to have a house or a room to stay in. Gratitude meditation. I'm so grateful for my children. Gratitude meditation. I'm so grateful for my husband. I'm so grateful for my wife. Gratitude meditation from the moment you wake up. Just give me three things. Prayer or meditation for three things that you're thankful for. And this gets you started off on the right foot. Okay, what do we got to get done today? Hey, I can get this. I can get this. It is possible for me to do this. Not I have to, I choose to. Focus on the positive. Not I have to, I choose to. I am free. I woke up today not in jail, not in a concentration camp, not a slave, not in a war-torn country. I woke up today with enough health to be able to walk in there and brush my teeth. Wow, we have toothpaste in stock. This house is amazing. I feel like I did a really good job brushing my teeth this morning. I got to give myself credit. I really feel like I nailed it with that. All right. What are we doing for breakfast? Focusing on the positive. Wow, we have eggs in stock. That's fantastic. Focusing on the positive. All right, I'm going to a job. I'm going to work. I have a job. Man, I'm crushing it at life. This is amazing. Focus on the positive. These coworkers. I have coworkers. Man, I am adulting. I'm an adult. Focusing on the positive. Wow, I really killed this report. I'm really excited about this. I'm just going to slip this in on the boss's done pile and go to the next project. I don't want to hear anyone else's opinion on this because I feel so good about what I just did on that report. I don't want anyone to spoil it with their opinion. I'm not going to ask anyone for validation. I'm too busy focusing on the positive. They might mess around and point out some negative. I don't need that. Oh man, it's lunchtime. Fantastic. I love lunchtime. Focus on the positive. Focus on the positive all the way to the time you get home, all the way to the moment you go to bed at night. You go, okay, now let me visualize the amazing future that I'm going to be in. All of the things that I'm going to have. Oh, that's the car I'm going to drive. Oh, that's the house I'm going to live in. Oh, that's the field I'm going to live near. Oh, that's how my body's going to look. That's what kind of outfits I'm going to be wearing. That's what I'm going to be doing for these people. That's what I'm going to achieve. From morning to night. Let yourself know you're proud of yourself because you are your own parent. And this is reparenting. Build yourself up. Let you know that you accept yourself. Let you know that you love yourself. Don't look for it on the outside. That's not where it is. You get it from you. That's your job. You get it from you. It'll be hard at first, but just like all training, you get through the hard part, doing reps, and then you build up. You build up a stamina for it. You build up a tolerance for it. And you will reprogram your mind so that you can start giving credit to the positive.